let's see, where should I start? Who wants to go first on this lovely Saturday morning? Look, let me start with you, Mrs. Hinojosa. When you see the department saying these things and you have a district attorney and the mayor contradicting what they're saying, what kind of confidence do people have in this agency right now when you have those kinds of disparities?
Usually federal law enforcement, they won't come out and run out and say something without having all of the evidence. And you oftentimes hear we have an ongoing investigation and there's not more that we can say. And it's usually the locals that come out first and rush to conclusions. And this is why the FBI has typically taken its time until it has more information about any sort of shooting or any incident. Under Kash Patel, what has happened is that they have tried to rush to frame the narrative a certain way. And it's not the way that you do law enforcement. I think we can say both in Houston and in Maine, these were massive law enforcement failures. And we have seen Kash Patel and our law enforcement agencies fail at every turn to try to get ahead of the narrative. The other thing on this matter is that the FBI is supposed to work with state and local law enforcement to ensure that they have all the resources possible. And so this back and forth doesn't necessarily help when it comes to this. Also, this is what happens whenever you have quotas. When you have quotas, people get shot and killed.
Well, there's also conflicts when you have sanctuary policies in place that prevent any kind of cooperation between local law enforcement and the federal government on anything related to ICE. I think that's an important piece of this. Whether or not that played any role in any of this, we don't know. I think part of getting ahead of the narrative is because anytime there's any kind of action, the response has always been that ICE is 100% to blame and that the person who might have ended up becoming a victim or was the one who was the target for a reason is somehow playing no role whatsoever in this. In both of these cases, we heard from ICE suggesting that both of the people who were shot and killed fled, and they used their vehicle to flee. We should be having a conversation, at least in part, to say, do not do that.
But
Stop
the use
doing
of force
that.
policy specifically
We can have
says
that conversation too. I think that's an important piece.
Somebody, unlike the movies, you cannot shoot someone if they flee, unless
well,
your
if they're
life
fleeing,
unless
your
the
life is
officer
or someone else's
life is in danger. So fleeing is not a reason for extrajudicial killing. We should be clear about that, because I think sometimes people see a lot of, you watch a lot of movies, a lot of film, and television shows, and
I've heard people say, shoot at the tires. It doesn't quite work like that at all.
And I will give Todd Blanchett. Todd Blanchett said in his hearing that in the use of force policy that all law enforcement should follow it. And I will say, I will give the FBI, DEA, and the Marshal Service credit. They follow the use of force policy. You do not see ICE agents killing people on the streets. This is happening, so you don't see FBI agents. This is happening with ICE agents, and there is a reason. And it is either because of training, they don't believe that they have to follow the use of force policy. It is, Trump's sort of law enforcement agency to go after these undocumented immigrants. There are all sorts of questions.
Or they don't want to get hit by the vehicle that's fleeing.
But I don't understand why the FBI, DEA, and other law enforcement agencies aren't out killing innocent people. I mean, that is just the reality. They're out with killing the bad guys.
To her point, this is the first time we're seeing this. Other agencies aren't just randomly killing people because they say
ICE
that
is
their
not
lives
randomly killing people.
They are actually randomly killing people.
So this is random.
in fact,
they're going around and they're choosing people
because
that they're
they
going
have,
to kill.
in fact, because they do have a quota in place of 2,000 arrests per day, they are actually probably not trained to do their job effectively in the way in which they should, and they should be partnering with other agencies so that this job can be done effectively.
How is it random?
And it's random because you're targeting people and you're suggesting after the fact
you can't
that
after
you murder someone, right? Because that's what this is. After you murder someone and then you say that they had methamphetamine, and then you're like, wait a minute, it wasn't that. It was actually something so they can stay hydrated because they're construction workers and they work out in the heat.
FBI hasn't said
You have to then decide how to make this look good. We have seen this. So if you sit up here and tell me straight face on a Saturday morning that you don't think that they've made mistakes and the people that
No, I don't think they've.
Please explain to me what they've been doing right.
I don't think they've
when they have murdered these people.
But it's not murder.
What's your definition of murder?
Well, the purposeful taking of life, that's unlawful.
Correct.
That is it. Has anyone been charged with murder here?
Of course not.
In this case, okay,
because
they're not investigating. They're also not investigating.
And they're not investigating. They're making sure they don't
claim that this is a murder.
I am not saying that. No, but there is not. Just to be clear, there is not a current investigation into the ICE officers in Texas and in Maine. They are
because it does happen. They're investigating what happened first.
That's not the way that it happens. FBI usually opens a civil rights investigation anytime there's a police-involved shooting, except for in this administration.
I think it's kind of ridiculous to take this and in isolation. ICE has lost credibility over the scope of time,
Correct.
seeing that we have seen them blatantly mischaracterize actions, even situations of people where they have claimed they're using their car as a vehicle or as a weapon, and then it turns out the video has disproven that. So I don't think that anyone in good faith is taking ICE and credibility in its isolation here, because they've lost that over a scope of time. I also think the quota point is really important here. They have a directive from the president and from the administration to really cast a wide net, and they've specifically done this with ICE rather than the DHS or other agencies, because they want these cowboy tactics. They want to turn up the heat in the streets, as the DHS